It's nighttime here at the Daytona International Speedway, and the competitors for the second annual virtual 24-hour race have just finished the second practice session in preparation for this weekend's race. The prototypes were once more first out on track, experiencing the nighttime conditions that promised much in the way of jumbling the pecking order. The early top time went to Kadir Yilmaz Sarri in the number 28 Cerberus Maserati, ahead of Callum Brandon in the privateer Phoenix Downton that has only made it into race week by virtue of withdrawals, along with Brock Kidd in third in the factory car. Sarri's time stood as the best for almost half of the session, with Kip Maxwell ultimately showing Downton's significant pace in the Daytona darkness to go first. Eleanor Hoagland in the Cadillac then set an identical lap time to 3 decimal places, only becoming second by virtue of setting the lap time later on in the session, while Nick Addison in the Franklin Honda went to third. Hoagland went one better to ultimately lead the session outright just over halfway through. With only 8 minutes to go, Reggie Abbott took his Nissan to half a second from the top, only 400ths behind Sébastien Vauquelin in his Porsche. Vauquelin improved to third with just 5 minutes to go, and like in the first session, the closing stages of this session saw significant improvements from everybody. Reggie Abbott moved all the way up to first position, a position he wouldn't relinquish for the rest of the session, ahead of Nick Addison, Eleanor Hoagland, Sébastien Vauquelin and Kip Maxwell, with Van Schnellheide completing the top 6. With many of the previously front-running cars falling a little bit further down the order, here is how the rest of them lined up. The final practice of 2021 was for the GT runners once more, and like all of Test Week, Honda and Franklin underlined their supremacy in the class, with Johan Halvorsen taking the early impetus. Jean-Claude Sabatini set an early lap good enough for second overall despite being an amateur driver, an effort that he wouldn't better throughout the rest of the session, but certainly laid down a marker for how he's learned the car and track in his road to virtual. Sébastien Callahan sat in third by the halfway mark, while Ethan Knight showed the potential of the McLaren in fourth position. Sebastian Bergqvist beat the Brit with a good lap in his Porsche to take third though. Daniel Gentek's Ferrari moved up to second overall with 11 minutes remaining, with Carlos Zapatero just behind in third, while Cosmo Roberts also gradually moved his Dodge towards the head of the field. Bergqvist also improved to third place. Unlike the prototypes, once the running order was set, it remained significantly the same for the remainder of the session. William Ingram was the best of the amateur drivers in a solid 13th overall and just 1.4 seconds off of the best time. So with the running complete for practice for the GT runners for 2021, here is how free practice 2 ended. With the practice running all complete now for the virtual 24-hour race in 2021, next up is tomorrow's all-important qualifying sessions. For GT Le Mans and GT Daytona, it's a simple equation. The grid will be set in a single 30-minute session with the fastest runners at the head of the field. While in prototype, the top 10 cars will compete in a one-lap Super Pole shootout for the honour of starting on the overall pole position for the 2021 running of the virtual 24-hour.